Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Craig Peters here from Soundiron, and in today's tips and tricks, I'm going to be showing you guys how to get a little bit more out of the MIDI mode aspect of the Native Instruments Maschine Mikro. The main reason I got this is because I thought it would be a fun, different way of programming in MIDI, using different percussion instruments. Sometimes playing them in on a keyboard could be a little bit tough, so with having the pads and having them be a little bit bigger, a little bit more easier to play with your fingers. So I recently became aware of an update for the Maschine Mikro that allows you to use it more as a MIDI controller, which I thought was great because it's kind of one of the reasons that drew me to it. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to get a little bit more out of it, because one of the things that is a little bit tough when it comes to using Maschine Mikro in MIDI mode is that there's no way of changing octaves. So there is a way that you can still use it and being able to go through different octaves. So by the end of this video, you should have a basic understanding of how to set it up the way I'm doing it. I'm sure there's a lot more you can do with it, but for this, pretty much just going to be setting it up so that each page has a different octave span. So that way we're kind of taking the different chunks of the keyboard and applying it to different pages within the group window. All right, so let's get started. So I've already started setting this up, but I wanted to show you sort of how I'm going about it. So if you want to start your own, or you can actually download this template in the description below. I'll provide that for you as well. So what I'm basically doing is, so here's my template. I'm just calling it MIDI template. And then if you go to the pages window, you'll see the different pages. So if you hit the group button right here, you'll see how I have page 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3. And you can change the colors of them. You can customize them however you want. So I'm starting it off using C-1. So if we go over here, I have Apocalypse Percussion Elements. And I'm just pretty much just playing it in using my MIDI keyboard. So what I'm doing is, if you look at page 1, which is starting off at C-1, it goes C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and then all the way up. And then it will repeat. So up here you have C0, C sharp 0. So if you go to page B, you have C sharp 0. So some of them will kind of cross over a little bit. And the reason I did that was because I don't want to always have to switch to maybe play a few extra notes on that pad. Since I have those available, I figured I might as well just add them to each one. So let's just go ahead and keep going with the process. So what you can do is just right click and go to duplicate. And then if you want to make sure that you're staying on track, you can just name them. So I have that C2, and then we'll go to the assign window. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change this to C2. And then everything else, just highlight these, and then I'll turn this one off. And then let's just add that up. Well, and then we'll just keep going. All right, so now we're on C2. So let's just go one more. So I'm basically changing all these at the same time. So now we're on C sharp 2, then I'll click that, keep these going, raise them up, discontinue that one, whoops, go back. So what I'm doing is pretty much I'm modifying all of them at the same time, but once I change the note that I want to be changed, then I'll just go ahead and unclick it and then keep changing the rest of them. So we've got D, D sharp, and we got D sharp again, so let's go ahead and then just raise this up and just keep going. So it's a little bit of a time-consuming process, but honestly it's worth it in the end, I think, because this is a really cool feature. And if you want to be able to get more out of your Maschine Mikro for doing stuff like programming MIDI using different context sample libraries, this is pretty much the way to go. And then if you want to change the color of it, you can do that too. Let's say we want that color. So now if we go to the group window, we see we've added that page. So the cool thing about it is whenever you're wanting to, let's say, try some different percussive instruments in a different range, you just hit group, change the page, and then that's it. So you can see it's fairly easy. It doesn't take too much time. So let's just go ahead and keep going. So now let's duplicate this. And duplicating it just keeps it easy because it's less work you got to do later on. So then whenever you're making any of those changes, remember you got to go to the assign window too. So let's just go ahead and we're going to change this to C3. Highlight all these. unselect the first one because that one's already set. And then go to this note area over here where it says action. And let's keep going all the way up till we're on C3. Make sure that's on C#3. Unselect it. And then just keep going. All right, so that's done. And then if we want to change the color, let's do it yellow. That works. And that's it. So now you'll see over here, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 different pages now that we can access of different octave spans. So let's just go ahead and we'll minimize that. So if we want to just, go to group, set it to 1. So now we're on group 1. And before you weren't able to do it like this because you needed to use the Maschine software or the Maschine plugin to use this in this way. But now you can just kind of load it up and use it as a MIDI controller, which is awesome. All right, so now let's just go ahead and start programming something in. So let's go ahead and hit record. Okay, let's go ahead and chop this, open it up. And you'll see now that you have this, let's go ahead and change the grid a little bit. You can go ahead and select them, quantize them, and do that sort of thing. So let's cool. So let's say we want to keep going. Let's add some other stuff. Let's change the group. We'll go here, see what kind of. Go ahead and add some of this stuff. So let's go back here for a second. Okay, let's go ahead and glue this together. Cut that, open that up. So now you'll see that you have all your different MIDI notes. And if you want, you can, do some different shifting when it comes to the MIDI grid. Sometimes things just get thrown off and it's up to us to kind of fix them a little bit. So let's see how this sounds. Cool. So you can see it's really easy once you have that there, because if let's say it's just easier for you to play stuff in, or if let's say you want to do some step input, you can do that too. Let's just go ahead and just program some stuff in. Let's find a different group. Before we do this. Let's do that. So let's go ahead and enable our step input. And you can see it's being played up here. So I don't know if this is going to sound cool or not, but we'll see. You can just bring all these up. All right, so that pretty much wraps up on how to get more out of the MIDI mode aspect of the Maschine Mikro. I'm really glad that this is finally possible, and hopefully for any of you that have been struggling on how to set this up, you find this helpful. If you do, make sure you like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.